Good evening. I am Lisa Nicholson, the host for this evening and mental health coordinator for Oasis Church International. We welcome you to another podcast on mental health. And this month we are going to discuss first responders and mental health. And I'd like to thank our senior pastor, Cassandra V. Fullwood, for allowing us to come on and spread information and awareness to the community as it relates to mental health. So I am so elated to be here this evening with my brother-in-law, Mr. Vincent Williams. He is the lieutenant for the Orange County Fire Rescue Department. And we are going to just talk about how being a first responder affects your mental health. I know we probably haven't spoken about this in a long time since COVID, but guess what? We still have first responders responding on a daily basis, probably every minute, to so many different situations. And we're going to talk about that and how it affects one's mental health, and no other better person than someone who has their hands and feet in the trenches every day. So I'd like to introduce none other than my brother-in-law. He is married to my sister, my baby sister, Raquel, and he's going to further introduce himself. So I'd like to also just ask that you all would please share this live now. Share it. We want others to hear. This is actually Suicide Prevention Month and Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So we'd like to give a shout out to all the families that have experienced some type of suicide trauma. And we are praying for you all, and hopefully you will find some solace in this live as well. And we're just going to go on because I have a lot that I like to talk about. He has a lot of information to bring us. So, Lieutenant Vincent Williams, please introduce yourself. You ready?
Hello, how are you doing?
So, good.
Yes. So yes, my name is Vincent Williams. I've been with Orange County Fire Rescue for 17 and a half years now. I've been a lieutenant for almost 4 years now.
Okay. You're breaking up a little.
I born and raised. Said that. Okay, there we go. I was born in Riviera Beach, Florida. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's still kind of breaking up.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
It froze. Lisa.
I can hear you, yes. Are you there?
Okay, you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. But yes, I was born and raised in Riviera Beach, Florida. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. There we go. Can you hear me better now, Lisa?
Yes. We're going to get it together, Lieutenant.
Okay, all right. Like I said, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on over here. But my name is Vincent Williams. I've been a lieutenant. I've been with Orange County for 17 and a half years. Been a lieutenant for 3. Born and raised in Riviera Beach, Florida. Ended up moving here to Orange County about 2006 or so, and ended up joining the fire department in 2008. So I've been here 17 and a half years now.
Oh, wow. 17 and a half years, and you're still hanging in there. That says a lot. Yeah. So I want to ask you, what motivated you to become a firefighter?
Well, I think the first thing that actually motivated me was I remember being at a parade, and I seen a big fire truck, and I think that was the first thing that actually made me be like, "Oh, that's so cool! I want to do that," you know.
Mhm.
and then, um, and then as I got older, I got into a program called the Explorer program, and it helped motivate me even more. And I've always been the type of person I love helping people out. I love trying to do things to make people smile, as far as make them feel good, make them feel better. And I love health. I love physical fitness, that type of stuff as well. But being a firefighter to me was like, I used to always say, it was like the closest thing I think I could be to being a superhero. and I really enjoy it. I really want to be able to motivate people, even talk to younger people about the specialty of just being there for other people. You know, I know we always talk about, especially as Christians, we talk about being in life for people and being there for people. I believe that this is almost like the next best thing to me to help me even motivate, to help me even push more to be better in my community.
Okay, that is awesome. Awesome. You say superheroes. So I have to say, shout out to first responders. You all are definitely superheroes. So thank you for all that you do. And I just kind of want to mention something because you say you like to like physical fitness and everything. He didn't say anything, but he is heavily in martial arts. So some of you from the Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County area probably knows his father. So you want to talk a little, just let them know about your martial arts. I don't know which belt is which, but you can let them know. It's okay. So I think you're frozen again. We may have to have Vincent go out and come back in. Are you there, Vincent? Are you there? I see your eyes batting. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Are you there, Vincent? Okay, I think he's frozen. Can you all go out and come back in?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, can you? I'm not sure if the earphones have anything to do with it or
Listen, you
not.
can hear me?
I can. Can you try it without the earpiece? It shouldn't have anything to do with it, but and if you have another
Yeah, I don't know.
laptop,
It keeps frozen.
do you have another device on
Okay.
close to you? Because if so, you probably want to have someone to move away from you. It shouldn't be
Okay.
on close. Do we need to try another device? You're on mute now. So what about coming off of mute? Okay. So how is that? You there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. And that
Yes.
sounds good. All right. So I was letting them know that you're into martial arts. So brown belt, white belt, black belt, which one?
Black belt. Been a black belt
Okay.
since like 1996, I believe it was.
1996. And
Yes.
what have you done in terms of helping the community as it relates to black belt? Black belt, and that is it karate?
Yeah. Well, I say martial arts because our martial arts had all different kinds of forms. We did karate, jujitsu. kung fu, taekwondo. It was a mixture of martial arts.
Right. And then have you done anything in terms of the community or talked to
Oh
firefighters,
yes.
anything about martial arts?
Yeah. So it's funny because a lot of the guys who actually work with me now, they do a lot of them do jujitsu, and so they
Okay.
always joke around with me because they know I do martial arts, and they always trying to say, well, which one do you think is better, and this has so we always. But but I believe that when it comes to far as the community goes, my dad, we used to always do stuff in the community. We used to do be in the parades. We used to do the muscle shows. My dad, they usually have us perform at almost anything over there at Wells Gym. And
Right.
but it helped with me. I believe that martial arts helped me a lot with my as far as just being disciplined, as far as having that self-control, having that be able to be calm in situations.
Yes.
And I believe that's what helped me out a lot. And a lot of the guys who I talk to now, they always say, oh yeah, they mess with me all the time and say I'm like a ninja because they say I'm the quietest thing when I walk, when I move. So
yeah, and that is so important in terms of talking about mental health, especially everything that you probably see on a daily basis. So, that's going to take me to my next question. What are the benefits of being a firefighter and first responder?
Well, I think now, as far as what the community give us, a lot of the time in the community itself, they respect us firefighters and first responders majority of the time, more than what people may see on the news.
Mm-hmm.
But
just in
a lot
general,
of
what do you think the benefits are just for you?
just for me. Well, as far as for me goes, I believe. Trying to think how to answer that. I think it benefits me in a way of a lot of times with me. Like I said before, I like helping out people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's certain things that have helped me because of what I have seen and what I have done. So it is times where even like with my family, we like to go out. Even I tell my wife, I literally put water and stuff in my car and go pass that stuff in the community and to the homeless, stuff like that, because you see it. We actually be the first ones to run on some of these calls at people's houses. You see what some kids that some people may not know be living in. See what some elderly people may be living in, because people, you're not always in and out of people's houses, but we are. And so it's been times where I have, and my family, we always type of people that we love to kind of go out and help people. So it's been times that I have got water and got bags and stuff, and I'll go out and go back to certain neighborhoods that I have seen, where may have homeless, may have kids that may need help, and I'll go pass out stuff, and me and my wife and my mom and all of us. So the benefit for me is, I believe it's just something, it's more of a balance for me. It's almost like tithe and offering. Mm-hmm. That's my balance. I like to go out and help out people. And I'll always tell people too, when we have new firefighters come in, they love to say, oh, well, I want to be a firefighter because I like helping people.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask people, well, what do you mean by that? Because to me, you may say you like helping people as a firefighter, but technically that's my job.
Right.
So I can't really say that, but I tell people all the time, I like helping people, but I was doing that even before I became a firefighter. With Thanksgiving, we used to go feed a family, and Christmas we'll go, we'll adopt a family for Christmas. So it was the way that we was brought up. So I still like to do that now, even with my kids and my wife and stuff now. Because I just think everybody in the community may always need, and us as Christians, we're supposed to be that light. We're supposed to be that thing, that Christ-like thing. So that's the only way to really get out there and do it.
That's right. Oh, I love it. I so love it. So is that like the culture at your, I would say, the Orange County fire departments, or is this something that just, I hear that what you're saying about you being raised that way and you're doing it and you're having a heart for it, but has it spread like at your, I don't know what you call it, your station?
So now sometimes our department, they do have us go out. let's take COVID, for example. We did so much. I would say community service, but of course they was paying us. So it's one of those things. It's like, yes, it's community service. We was out there passing out water, passing the masks out. We was even giving the swabs and everything to get the tests and everything.
Right.
But it is times where we volunteer to do, because there's times I went out there and I volunteered to do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But even like we go through the communities, I do try bicycle helmets on for the kids. We do seatbelt. I mean, we do car seat inspections for like most times it's grandparents. Most times it's not really the new parents. A lot of the new parents, they kind of know how to do it, but most times it's a lot of grandparents and stuff that with these new car seats. So it's things that we do go out in the community and do as a department as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I really like that. You don't think about those type of things, doing the car seats. And so tell me about, I want to kind of get like in the nitty gritty, but I don't want to go ahead of myself. Mm-hmm. But so before I ask this question, I want to ask you, when you being a lieutenant now, because you've worked many years, as a firefighter, and I'm sure you worked up the ranks. So tell me about your career path as a firefighter.
Okay. Well, like I said, I started here 2008. So you become a lieutenant. You start off as a firefighter. Here in Orange County, you can become an engineer, which is the driver of the engine, and now also the rescue. They just added the rescue as an engineer, but it's not something that you have to become before you become a lieutenant. So I was never an engineer because back then we was taking the test. It was like always a lot of people taking it, and they only had it for like 10 spots. So you always kind of compete in it, and it goes by the scores that you have. Mm-hmm. So I had always said I wanted to at least become a lieutenant. So I was blessed enough to get about 4 years ago now, get through the class and was able to take the test. So I had a great lieutenant when I was a firefighter, and between him and just the stuff that I seen, that I believe it was more of I could change a little more, I could do a little more once you become a lieutenant, because now they allow you to, because you are in that management or in that leadership role, they allow you to even take on certain jobs. Like they'll put you over something. They'll say, okay, hey, you're going to be over this, you're going to be over that. So that's one reason, and I also like helping out the newer guys. Right. So for me, it was always one of those things like, man, if I can get in that role, and because I have seen it go good and bad. I have seen lieutenants that say some things or do some things. It's like, man, and then I seen great lieutenants. Like my lieutenant, I believe, was a great lieutenant. He was my lieutenant, though, I think for 13 years, and then I became lieutenant at 14. So, and I love that man to this day. But he was a great lieutenant, and he the one that kind of motivated me too, because I talked to him, and he was like, "Well, Vincent, I think you would be good at you talk to people very nice. You're very motivational. You listen to people. You all about being a kind person, a hearted person." So, and a lot of people always mess with me now, say, "Oh, you're just so nice. I want to go to your station once you get a station. I don't have a station." So they always talk about they want to go to my station. I tell them I can't have everybody at my station.
Right. So that is going to lead me to the next question. So being a lieutenant and have, been a firefighter for 17 years, what do you tell new firefighters or those inspired to become a firefighter?
Okay. So a lot of times I also sometimes help out with recruitment. So it kind of started there. So with recruitment, we have a lot of guys, woman or man, come up to the table, and they always say they have been interested in it. So we get them to come out to a program that we have here called the mentoring program. So a lot of times in mentoring, we get to talk to them a lot. We work out with them. We get to talk to them a lot. So a lot of times with me, especially when they're in mentoring, but then especially once they come into the field, it's even better. So I would get with them, and a lot of times with our newer people, we have a lot of young guys. This last class, we actually had 6 guys who just graduated in 2024. So they're young guys. And And
Is it
sometimes
high
you do have to.
school?
Yes, high school. Just go to
Okay.
high school.
Okay.
So they end up starting this job 18, just turned 19, and now they're actually in the field. So I like to talk to a lot of them and tell them you're gonna definitely, some people are gonna talk to you a certain way, and you're not gonna like it, but you have to understand that our job is community service. No matter how much we may not like and say, "Oh, well, I'm not community service," but we are. We're community service. So we have to watch how you talk to people, watch how you present yourself to people. If somebody says something to you that you don't like, you have to know how to just keep a smile on your face and, hey, go ahead and still keep doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I like to motivate people and tell them is I believe that this is I always say the best kept secret. And the reason why I say that is I believe it's definitely a great career. Even once you go to start looking at your path of retirement and everything else, it's a great career. I believe it's a very heartfelt career.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that it has given me the way to be empathetic
Mm-hmm.
to certain things. Even with certain things that have happened in my own personal life, far as you learn how to. It's times where certain calls will get you teared up,
Yeah.
So I try to let them know, hey, try not to take a lot of that stuff home,
Mm-hmm.
and try to, if you could find a way to go do something, mentally, or try to find a way, because a lot of us talk. We talk all the time after crazy calls. We normally get together and we talk to each other.
Right.
And being that lieutenant, like you asked me before, being that lieutenant, I always try to watch people. I try to watch their demeanor. Watch if I know this person was always a clown. This and now all of a sudden we're on this call and they just kind of to themselves. They're kind of sad looking. I will pull them out to myself and say, "Hey man, you okay? Everything good?" And we also have a program here that we could call, and they will allow us to. They'll come down and talk to us as well.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah. So I definitely want to delve into that a little later. So that is so good. So now I'm gonna ask you, you mentioned something about you've said it a couple of times about the things that you've gone through. Would you like to share? I think I know what you're talking about, and I believe you were a firefighter when it occurred.
Yes.
So would you like to kind of share that? And then I want to kind of let that lead us into mental health.
Okay, no problem. So back in 2013, I was actually on shift. February 20th, my twin sister passed away. I was on shift. I got a call from a young lady who was at the church where my sister was at the time, and then I actually got a call from one of my chiefs. And at the time when it happened, my world seemed like it stopped. I was on shift. I was trying to figure out how to leave. Was ready. I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing else at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to leave. Made it to the hospital. And after I got there, a couple of hours went through that day, and they called it that she passed away.
Was it a car accident or?
No, it was she had a blood clot.
Okay.
That ended up getting stuck in her lungs and went up to her, stopped it far as it went up to the heart and everything.
Yeah, so sorry about that. So being a firefighter and taking those type of calls, and then it knocks on your front door, like what are the next steps, for you? Like I know initially it was just like, oh my goodness, like you just expressed, and then after that occurs and you still have to, continue, working on your job, rescuing,
Yeah.
being that superhero. What were the next steps for you?
So with me, it was definitely hard in the beginning. It was definitely a hard thing. When it had occurred, I end up was able to get time off. But me mentally, it actually probably like that first year, I didn't know I was going through a depressed state until family members and people who knew me was like, "Man, you losing a lot of weight." Lost weight, went from like 160 to like 130.
Right.
And that's when I realized that it actually was really taking a bigger toll on me than I thought. Um, Even to the point where when it came to the job, the hospital that my sister was at when she passed away, I used to literally cry. If I had to take a patient to that hospital, I would literally cry all the way driving to that hospital.
Oh.
Get out of before I got out the truck with the patient in the back, I would wipe my face and go to work. So like you say, it's one of those things that's like you had to learn how to live with it because it's your career. You had to learn how to live through it. One thing that helped me out a lot, my family is very close. And we're a Christian, strong Christian family. So I believe my belief with God, and then I talk to every day, talk to family members about stuff, and that's what helped push and motivate, push and kept me going. Now, as my career went on, even I had a young man came and talked to me maybe a year after my sister passed away, which you never, like I tell people all the time, you never know who's watching you.
Right.
And he came and talked to me, and he was like, "Hey, Vincent, can I have a conversation about something?" And he's already in tears. So I'm like, "Sure, I don't know what was going on." And he said he had a friend that was like a brother to him who passed away. So he's like, "I know your sister passed away, and how did you get through it?" And so we went outside and walked all the way down, and we started talking. And
Yeah.
and he asked me, do you ever get over it? I told him no. I said, you learn how to live with it. I said, you got to understand, I had a twin sister. So every May 21st, I think about my twin sister. I'm like, I
Right.
would never go to a birthday from this day out without thinking about my twin sister.
Right.
And he's crying, I'm crying, we sitting there talking. I gave him a hug, said, "Hey man, we're men. I know we always meant don't cry, you're a man." That's my mom used to tell us back in the days, men hold that stuff in, that's how they die so fast. But
Right. Exactly.
we sat there, talked, cried, and I told him a little bit about my situation, and we kind of stayed in touch for a little while with each other. And it's just one of those things that even to this day, I'm great days, but every
Right.
now and again I will kind of be quiet to myself and just, think about my sisters. But nothing drastic, it has been a few years now. So but yeah,
Yeah.
so between that situation and making sure I can still be the person I was on my job, I always thank God for the fact that I didn't turn, because a lot of firefighters turn to drinking and all this other stuff, that I
Right.
never turned that. Even though I may have felt so bad and so hurt, it felt like, man, it was the worst thing at the time that have ever really happened to me, for me to
Right.
lose a person that was. So,
Right.
so
So it's like,
that's how I.
you're working. I mean, that's traumatic alone. And then you're working every day, dealing with traumas. So,
Yeah.
that's what the first responders deal with, unlike some of our jobs, making some days is fun, some days it's not, even as a HR professional, but it is different when you're called out and you're seeing people who are at the very end of life, and then sometimes it is the end of their lives, and putting out fires, like real fires. So how has it affected you being a firefighter? How has it affected you mentally?
So I think in that time, it definitely had a huge effect on me.
And even now, just in general, just throughout
Even
your
now,
career.
so even so throughout my career, I have seen some things that. I know you asked me a question about the newer people. I even tell them, other people who first come up to me and say, "Oh, I always thought about being in the fire service. How is it?" Right. So I always tell them, so if you are that type of person that can watch the news and you hear a situation and you be like, "Man, that's so sad," we live it. So a lot of times, if you feel like something you seen was so sad, I have seen some things that's like, it's very sad. And they said that I pray that it can get erased, that God to take away out of my brain, because I have seen some things that, holding a baby that's blue, getting a baby that has drowned, it's terrible car accidents. So it's a lot of things that when it comes to me, my biggest thing is prayer. My biggest thing is God. My biggest thing is I always was the type of person that said, man, if I could keep a sane mind in life, And I want to say something that you had said too. One thing I tell a lot of people when it comes to us as first responders, police, firefighters, military personnel, even nurses, doctors, any of them people, we have the same life as everybody else. Right. We have to deal with, passing of family, divorces, bills, groceries going up, everything just like everybody else. But then on top of that, we also have to deal with the stuff that we see at work, and so I think that a lot of times, a lot of people don't understand that we actually have almost two stressors coming at you a certain way. Not just the stress from your normal life. You actually have your stresses from work, the stuff that you see at work. And so my biggest thing is always to try to have that balance of that work life type of balance. And then especially being married, I always tell people, my biggest thing when I come home to my wife, I joke all the time. I'm a big clown. But we'll watch things together. I'm always clowning with her and messing with her, but we'll find certain things to watch. And sometimes she asks me about my day and about certain things or whatever. And she always asks me about my day, how my day went. And that's one that I love about her. She does want to know if I'm feeling good. And if she does see me down or upset or sad about something, say, hey, you want to talk? And we actually talk about it. So I think family is definitely a huge thing that helps out with breaking a lot of the mental stuff that I have been through. To have that family that has your back. I think just knowing that someone's there. And knowing that you don't have to take on this by yourself. You don't have to cry alone. You don't have to, you got people that's out there that love you. You got parents that love you. You may have kids, and they love you. You have a spouse. You have family. You have somebody out there loves you.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really good because you need that support. You're out there and you're supporting others. So having that support is so important. And I like what you said about having that work-life balance, like with our work, we're huge, in that as well, where, you leave work, at work, although in my field, sometimes it's kind of hard because you have to prepare for that next day. So what about the most toughest, I would say the toughest, situation? I don't know because all of them probably are very, very tough, I'm sure. But what is that thing that may have just stayed on your mind no matter what? In terms of your career and the traumas that you've dealt with. And then that thing, what did you do about that? Like, I know you prayed, absolutely, because I don't even think I can make it being a firefighter without God. But even with God, I don't want to be a firefighter. So yeah, tell me about that.
So one of the toughest things that really got me, and I don't know, I think it's always something with kids. What's a drowning that we had? It was a 3-year-old. Was out of a resort, and we had got there. They was already pumping on his chest. So we also, we jump out, do our job, try everything that we can, and I always try to keep in my mind, I know we're not God, we can't give nor take life. And I think that was one of the toughest, just to see, because in my mind, having kids, it always push you to that. I try my hardest not to put my kids' face of my mother's face or my dad's face. Like none of my loved ones' face on someone else, because I think that
That's
would
real good.
kind of drive you crazy. But that was one. That was definitely one of them. And the one I was talking about, the had a young lady, a little girl. She was at the time maybe 3 months, and her dad brought her out to us as soon as we got out of the truck, and she was blue. And
She was
now,
blue.
yeah, she was blue. Yes.
Okay.
And the dad said he went in there just to give her a kiss goodnight, and he realized there was some blood in her crib. And so we kind of find out she had seizures. She had a seizure.
Wow.
Now the good side to this story is she's alive. She's doing well.
Good.
Now, this is the blessing this is the side that I rarely get to see, but for some reason, one day I was at work in that same area, and I decided to walk over to the Walgreens. That was like right, literally not even up the street, just a couple of steps up around the corner. A lady walked past us with her son and her 2 sons and a daughter, and it was me and my buddy. She walked past us, then she came back up, and she was like, "Hey, I know you all." I was like, "Okay." Now this is like 6, 7 years later. She said, "You all saved my daughter's life."
Wow.
I was like, "Really?" Yes, you remember? She was a baby. She was like 3 months, and she went and got her daughter and brought her to us. Me and him stood there with tears in our eyes. He gave me a hug. I said that's the type of stuff, because you never really see that. A lot of times we drop people off to the hospital and you really don't know what happens.
Exactly.
You pray for the best. You pray that everything goes good. And that there really tugged my heart. It was like, man, I was so happy to see that.
That's amazing.
So that was definitely a blessing to see that she was doing good, and she talked to us, and of course she don't remember, she was 3 months.
Right.
Her mom actually remembered us, and that really with both of us, it really made us feel great inside,
Yeah, that's such an amazing story. When you said it, I started smiling, because I remember when we all went to dinner and you were telling, or lunch, and you were telling us about this just amazing story, even the drowning and some of those other things that you've gone through. So I want to also talk about, like, when it comes down to mental health. So we kind of talked about some things. In some ways it can affect you mentally, and one of my questions was, how do you ensure that work-life balance? So it sounds like you have pretty much a handle on that, but I know that there's some of the firefighters or any other first responders that may not have that work-life balance. So tell me a little bit about some of the situations that you've encountered with coworkers that don't have that.
Yes, one of the biggest situations I think I have seen a lot of, especially when it comes to people that's in marriages, divorce. They say that between firefighters, police officers, and even military personnel, we are in the highest divorce rates. Which is one of those things that's kind of I think I kind of understand it, because I believe you have to have the right partner to understand your career, to understand it's going to be times where you may have to stay late. It's going to be times where you have to, for example, for when a hurricane come through, I get everything prepared that I can for my wife, and she knows I have to go to work. I literally have to be there. If they tell me I have to come for a week, but I make sure that she's okay, make sure I can, so she's a partner that I know understands my career. So a lot of times, if you don't have that partner that understands your career, understands we work for the government. So it's one of those things like we have to respond to what the government says. Hey, this is what we need done. That's what we do. So I have seen situations where a lot of guys with divorces, and then a lot of guys do not. A lot of people, I should say, do not take it easy, I should say.
Right.
I have been in a situation where I actually sat down with the guy and talked to him because he was so upset because of his divorce he was going through. And he was upset. He was upset with the crew. Like, he was just mad. And I'm the type of person I say stuff. So I was like, hey, man, what's going on? And he was like, oh, Vincent, you don't understand. I'm going through a divorce. But at the time, he didn't understand. I was going through a divorce. So,
Wow.
so I had said to him, I said, well, you know, I said, actually, buddy, I do. I said, I'm going through a divorce as well. And then he started talking about, but I bet she's not doing that. But no, all that stuff you name, yes, you know, it's the same. So and so I told him, my thing is, do not be upset with us as your crew, even as your, because we're here, we're on your side. We're not sitting here. We're not the ones going through the divorce. We're not the ones getting divorced from you.
Right.
So like you said, even earlier, you have to learn how to separate your home, no problems, and your work problems.
Yeah.
So it's times where you may be upset with your wife, but you got to go to work and you have to do your job. You may something crazy may have happened at work, but I definitely never try to bring that stuff home to my wife because I want her to know that, hey, like if I'm going to bring anything home, it's more for me to, hey, let me talk to you just to get this out. All right, now let's go. It's not me being upset or being sad or being like mentally messed up where I'm treating my wife in a negative, wrong manner. So
right. So everyone, I mean, that's not everyone's testimony, you know. So you mentioned earlier about, I believe it's maybe counseling or some type of assistance that you all receive. Can you tell us about that?
yes. So with our department, we actually have a mental health. They're the behavior health, I should say. They do behavior health, and it's firefighters. They're great at it. I believe the lieutenant that's over, I believe she does a great job. She's a sweetheart, and I tell people all the time it's great because she's a female, so it's even better because she's that motherly. They know how to, how to hug you, So I think she's very nurturing. So and when that situation with the baby happened, it's crazy because I had two crazier calls like maybe 2 shifts ago, and she had actually called me, and she was like, "Hey, Vincent, do your crew need to talk?" I said, "Oh no, I think we're good." But then when she seen that call with the baby thing, as soon as I called her, she said, "I'm on my way."
Yes.
Because she knew, she said, if Vincent calling me, he wanted to come talk to his crew.
Right.
And the good thing is they come out. They sit down with all of us. They actually take us out of service, that station out of service. They sit down with us. They let us talk. They don't even really talk. They let us talk, get everything out. Then they start asking us questions about, do you want to, because they do have other avenues from different areas in the state of Florida where if you feel like you have to go to some type of counseling, you go and they will help us out with it.
That's awesome.
And so a lot of times we do have a lot of, with that situation, I had a young man. He just had a newborn, and then he had a 2-year-old. So I actually, after we talked to the behavior health, he still was kind of walking around, and I could see it in his face because I knew who he was. So I went up and I said, "Hey man," I said, "You are you okay? I said, "Hey man, go home." I said, "Because I see it in you, man. It's like you look like you're so hurt." And he was. He's like, LT, and he said, "I just want to go home and hug my kids. I just want to go." I said, "Hey man, go home." I said, "Don't worry about nothing. I said, I'm going to call Chief right now." And they already knew about the call. Right. So I called Chief, and he was like, "Yes, Vincent, tell me to go." Because to me, because then the same thing kind of happened to me with my sister. I didn't get to go home right that second.
Right.
But I wasn't mentally there. I wasn't mentally there. If I would have got a call that like the second later, I wouldn't have been on that call mentally.
Right.
So I had told him, hey, yes, hey, don't worry about it. Call Chief. I told him to go ahead, and they sent somebody to fill his spot about 30 minutes later. So, you definitely, especially being a lieutenant, you definitely have to kind of, you watch more. You try to your crew is good because you want everybody to be not just go home safe physically, but I want everybody to go home safe mentally, even with especially you going home to your family, going home to the loved ones. I want you to mentally be good too, and go home and be able to enjoy your life with your kids, enjoy life with your spouse.
Yes. So what about so we talked about the work-life balance. I was going to go kind of on in terms of emotionally, physically, socially, like how all of that, because that mental health drives everything. So, when it affects your mental health, how has it affected you or, firefighters or even others that you may know, like physically, emotionally, socially, just because you're that first responder and you're a rescuer, you're dealing with, a lot of traumas day in and day out.
Yes. So I think one thing that, especially as firefighters, that we I think we deal with things in such a comical way sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really to block out a lot of things. And like I said before, I always love to joke around.
Laughter
But
is good for the soul.
oh yeah. So a lot of times though, the physical side, I see a lot of guys end up gaining weight in a negative way. Um, not working out a certain way, and now we have a lot of people that actually start, they may take like certain things to kind of keep them on, like Adderall. They go get prescription for Adderall and
Wow, wow.
certain little things like that, because I know nothing about it for Adderall goes, but all I know is that it's one of those things that kind of keep you balanced for as
Calm. Mhm. Yes.
ADHD. Yes.
Yes.
Um, so I know a lot of guys is with that there. I know a lot of guys do counseling, which
Mhm.
helps out a lot.
That's good.
So physically, I think that's what happens. A lot of people do. You end up gaining a lot of weight. So
Right.
that's one thing I really try not to do that. As far as emotionally, um, we have seen it. We have seen guys that have broke down in the middle of a call. We have seen guys who have even died by suicide, right?
Right.
Um, and even with that, that has even affected some firefighters because it's a friend of yours, so it's a
Absolutely.
coworker, and
Yep.
it makes you say, "Man, why didn't he come talk to me?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wish I would have known, or how didn't I see this? Um, and that there alone, I believe, hurts a lot of us mentally, because you always think that we already firefighters. We feel like we could save everybody, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Superhero.
yeah. So you think, man, I could have saved him. I could have helped him out, if he would have just came to me. And even seeing suicide, even just working, I have seen it, from even people who we have ran calls on, and
Wow.
um,
Wow.
and a lot of times, even me personally, I question, like, man, what would make a person do that? I look at my wife, I look at my kids, look at my family, and I always say I would never want to hurt them, right? So to me, that's what kind of motivate me to be like, hey, and then like I say, my belief in God makes me say, you know what, hey, that's not the way I'm going to go. I'm not going
Right.
to, I'm going to pray about something. If it's bothering me that bad, hey, I got enough of sick time and vacation time. I take a week off, something.
Right.
I'm going to give myself even a mental break away
Right.
from that.
Right.
So like I said, so the physical, emotional, um, what was the other? Yeah,
Socially.
socially. So
Mm-hmm.
socially, with me, I'm a social butterfly. I,
Right.
I mess with people. I mess with people in the store. I mess with people everywhere. But you do have guys that you have that they. One thing I think with our fire department, I have seen a lot of guys, they hang out together. So that's a great thing. They hang out together. They even go out to eat, do family events. And I even have a group of guys that we do things like that. We'll go out to eat together. We have
That's
actually been on cruises together. So I
good.
believe a lot of times we do stick together. I always tell people that the fire department is a family outside your normal family. So a
Right.
lot of times socially, I see a lot of people that do great because you have that brotherly love, that sisterly love. You have somebody there that you feel like, hey, it's some stories I could tell my buddies at work that I won't tell my wife because we work the same job.
Right.
So they will understand it a little better than my wife,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times too, I believe that we shouldn't put so much. I shouldn't take every story that I know and put it on my wife.
Right.
It's not mentally. Everybody's not mentally able to want to handle every little story, And I won't want
That's
my
so
wife worrying about
good.
something like that too. So
That is really, really good because being able to differentiate that, because that it shows that you're in tune with your self-aware. Your self-awareness is excellent because if you're not self-aware, you're thinking more about, yourself and not that you're trying to be selfish, but you want somebody to talk to. But what you said was very important. And as we're talking, I'm thinking about, maybe doing a part 2 where we bring on spouses or family members of first responders. And I think that would be very good because they're affected by what you're going through.
yes.
But when you come home and you try to separate, that your work and the traumas that you're going through, because now you want to focus your attention, on that person, but also having that person to be understanding and, and being there and being supportive for you, and to you, that's key, and I like what you said about, just having God there, because that is like number one. That's your safe haven. When you can't, he's your hiding place. I mean, when you can't go to nowhere else, you can go to him. And there is a song, or back in the day they would say, God, I thank you for keeping my mind in perfect peace. And you hear the older people, say that when we were younger, and thank you for giving me, what was that? It was waking up in my right mind. But then you have people like who are first responders, and even your nephew, is in the military as well, and have talked about seeing a buddy or something that has died by suicide, and you mentioned the dying by suicide. This is Suicide Prevention and Suicide Awareness Month, so I kind of do want to delve into that a lot. I mean, how long did the person or persons that you worked with, how long were how long were they firefighters?
One of the young men, we talking about who may have died by suicide?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so one of the young men that was there, I want to say 3 years.
Okay.
Before his situation.
Do you think it had something to do with the traumas that he,
I think it was a little bit of both. He did have like I said, I had talked to him a few times. He did have a rough way of just normal life as well.
Okay.
And I believe he let that override his thinking of, and he ended up doing something that made him push himself to that.
Wow.
And that's one thing that I think that's one of the situations where a lot of us was like, man, because I was even upset about it, because I knew him enough that I was like, man, why didn't he talk to me several times, and
right.
Thinking that, man, if I just could have said this to him, I just could have said that to him. So I think a lot of times, like I said earlier, I believe because we have our normal life, but then we have the firefighter life.
Right.
And a lot of times it blends in so much together, where the stressors of your normal life, and then you add those other stresses to it. And a lot of times I think some of us just, like you said, can't mentally learn how to separate it or learn how to balance both of them out, where it's like, okay, hey, I cannot allow this to make me feel a certain way. Because even with me, I have said before, when my sister passed away, oh man, I felt like I could have left this earth. But I never thought about committing suicide.
Right.
But it was just the worst feeling I have ever felt, And so I understand that people, you can mentally get there. You can mentally be damaged. And then if you allow the job, other things to come up, and you feel like, man, it's just overwhelming.
Right.
And I believe that's what that young man was. I think he just felt so overwhelmed and didn't understand that he has kids and has people that love him, and just decided to, take that route. And a lot of times you do be like, man, you wish. But so now that's why they have pushed so much more now since after COVID, pretty much. That's been the biggest thing. And I'm glad that it came about, but I had maybe 14 years on that time or 15 years on that time. But I think this probably one of the best things, not just our county is doing, but worldwide, to speak on mental health and stuff like that, because I believe it is needed.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a great thing, and especially like you say, especially in those type of fields with the military and police officer and firefighters, because some things we have to do, especially the military and police officers, they have to do some things sometimes that they wish they never had to do.
Right.
When it comes to probably protecting themselves. And then with us, we have seen some things that we wish we never seen. And so I tell a lot of people, tell me when you ever seen a burn patient, seen a burn person. Tell me when you ever seen a person head through. So that type of stuff is not something that
I don't think. What was the second thing you said when you seen a person?
If you tell me when you have ever seen a burn person. Tell me when you ever seen a person that was through a windshield.
Went through a windshield. Ooh.
Yeah. So that's the type of stuff that I always try to keep my mind, like I said, like that you said earlier, on that perfect piece of life, and understand that I know God gave this as my calling.
Yes.
and just know how to be able to say, okay, it's plenty of times I will drive home or drive to work in silence and just talk to God.
Yes.
Every morning I pray for my crew. Every morning I pray, because my biggest thing is I always say, especially being a lieutenant now, I never really want to have to tell somebody, family member, that something happened to them while we're on that one. So I don't really want my coworkers to get hurt. Something tragic happened, and I have to tell the person, mother, father, wife, spouse, kids. That's one thing. So I always pray with my crew. I pray, and they may not know it, but in my car I'm praying. Pray over them and just, Lord, watch over us. Lord, watch over me and my family. Lord, watch over our houses while we're gone.
Yes.
Because I know, like you said, that it's just one of those things that it can definitely mess with you if you don't have that mental capacity.
Yes.
Of knowing how to allow God to be in control, and also knowing that we know we can't save everybody. We know we're going through stuff. So my biggest thing, and I even tell my wife, I know that me and my wife, it's your sister,
Yes.
I love her, but we know you have your differences, you have your disagreements. But one thing me and my wife always try not to do is leave each other upset.
Right.
We try to every day to make sure, well, not every day because we don't get it something every day, but if we get into a situation or whatnot, we make sure, hey, and we still come around, hey, I love you. I would not leave the house. She would not leave the house without saying, hey, I love you.
Right.
No matter how you may feel, because anything can happen to you in a car accident.
It's the truth.
So we always try to, and one thing I love about that young lady, she always write me little love notes on my food, which she makes my food.
Oh yes.
Those are the things like that motivates you to be like, okay, hey, and it helps me feel good to go through the day. And it's so crazy because one day at work, somebody's like, is this yours? Because that's your food in there with your note from your wife. I said, so I was messing. I said, yeah, my ex-girlfriend, now my wife, she went ahead and wrote me a love note on mine. But yeah, and he thought it was the coolest thing. He was like, man, my wife don't do nothing like that. But that helps out.
Yes, it's just those little things. You look at it as little, but they're huge.
Yes.
Because it takes you through your day.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. It makes you feel good, and it makes you know that person really is there for you. It makes you know that person really love you. Hey, I got your back. I love you. Just know, hey, no matter what, I know you're going for 24 hours, But hey, here's a little something, you know. Of course, we talk throughout the day sometimes, but
Right, right. Oh my God, this has been just so good. It's been an hour already. I just cannot believe it. And we're getting so many comments about this being such a good conversation. It has here, that's a concern of mine, the balance. My son graduated from the fire academy. That's right. And his wife is a 911 dispatcher.
Oh,
I
wow.
recently asked him what you guys do to unwind from your day. So they're like working pretty much like hand in
Yeah,
hand,
the same.
taking the call.
Yeah.
He's going out and he's answering the call. Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot. So I want to ask you, what would you tell this firefighter and even his 911 dispatcher wife?
Well, I would say because a
He's
lot of people don't
new.
understand.
Sorry, he's a new
Saying,
firefighter. I
oh,
would
new
say
car.
the past
Okay.
maybe year, maybe yes.
Okay. I think a lot of people don't understand that even in the normal life that dispatchers actually go do a lot too. They're the ones that have to take that call. They're the ones that have to try to keep that person calm in that situation while they're waiting for us to get to the call. And even before I even got this career, I never would have thought of it. Like,
Right.
oh, they just take the call. It's nothing. But they actually, I have a few dispatcher friends. They're the ones that have to sometimes, when something happens to somebody, they're the ones that's trying to teach the person over the phone how to do CPR.
Wow. Yes.
So,
Yes.
so, so hats definitely got to be off to them because they first responders just like we are.
That's right.
So with him and his wife being pretty much in the same field, he may see more than what she may see physically with her eyes. But I believe a way to kind of, for us unwinding and helping each other out is, well, both of them, they're going to probably know what they go through anyway because they're in that same work balance.
Right.
But I think it's always good to get away.
Yes.
Get away, take a week off. And then the good blessed thing about our jobs, we can take time. They give us enough of time to take off.
Yes.
Take a week off, get away, go travel, go cruise, go do something with your loved one, with your spouse, and enjoy life.
Yes.
I think the thing that pushed me a lot to enjoy life is because of the things that I have seen. It makes me say, you know what, life is short.
Yes.
And if I can enjoy life every second I can, if I can go out there and I can and do things and make memories and stuff like that, because you never know. Firefighters go through cancer. Firefighters go through, you end up getting cancer. You end up getting, like you say, family death. So you never know what may come up about on you. So we have to live, enjoy life. Definitely, like I said, keep God first.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, my number one thing, I thank God so much because my number one thing is
Great advice, Lieutenant.
if it wasn't for God, I don't think I'll be here. If it wasn't for just even the blessing of me being where I'm at right now today.
Amen. Yes.
I don't have the financial capability. My mom just didn't have the financial capability to put me through all this stuff. So I was blessed enough to get a career. They put me through school. I tell my wife all the time, man, this was meant for me. God lined it up perfectly. And so I tell people, if I was the type of person that didn't believe in God, I would believe in God because of the fact
Amen. I love it.
I was just lined up. It's like I don't feel like I'm nothing special. As far as I didn't do nothing no different than the next man. But I would definitely say as a family, pray together. When you do feel a call was rough or tough, especially with that young man and his wife, talk to each other. Yeah. Talk to each other, or even if you feel like I don't know, do they have counselors at their department, but go together and seek some type of counseling, especially if it's something very, very rough that you feel like you can't really fight off, really can't handle.
Right. That's good. They are Christians and very involved with their church. That is awesome. Awesome. So he has that foundation as well. So that's awesome. But it's good that when you go away, you grow up And
Yeah.
like we're all grown up now, and you were given that foundation, that you lean on that is something
Yes.
that you have to lean on, because you all have some tough jobs, first responders. I like how you broke it down. Now you have your dispatchers, you have your firefighters, you have your police officers, you have your nurses, you have your
Yes.
doctors, and the thing about it is that these are positions that, and careers, and I like to even say just the lives of people that have lives dependent on them,
Yes.
so I kudos to you. I do want to ask another question. It was about we were talking about therapy, and
Yeah.
we're going to wrap it up soon. I promise, audience. It's 8:05, but we had like some technical difficulties, so we want our minutes back. This is so good though. So I wanted to ask you, because I'm a big proponent of therapy and taking care of your mental health. I know
Yes.
so have you encountered like coworkers, colleagues, friends that are firefighters, or first responders that kind of shot away from that help, that lifeline that you all have, or even before they put that into play at your job? Have you had any that kind of refused therapy, and what did that look like? I mean, did you see them like worse off, or tell me what that looked like?
Well, yes, I have known guys who refuse it. I believe it's more of a cultural thing, if that makes sense. I see
Yes.
a lot of us blacks, I need therapy, especially men. I don't need no therapy, and you think that you can, I can handle it. But but then I seen one guy that I know very close, and he was military.
Mhm,
He's in the fire
mhm.
department. Great guy. And when I see him open up about how he went to therapy, I'm like, wow. And when anybody see him over there, it's like amazing, because everybody know this guy. And
Mhm.
so on with him, it's like that's probably why he's the man he is today.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of things where you should be. I believe that we should go talk to somebody. I believe
Yes.
that that's the way to go. Even if you're not going to a full counselor type of thing, but you have that at your job where, hey, they'll come out there and talk to you. They give you their cell number. Because even if you're talking to them, they can they can even steer us to a certain way.
Right.
Because they even have like things for our family as well. So like if you go and do personal things, financial or, anything like that. They have ways to steer us around to those correct ways as well.
Right.
Because, like I said, we normal people. We have
Right.
financial problems. We have, all the problems like normal people do.
Right.
And but I have seen guys that have did it and they're doing great now,
Very good.
And so I think, but sometimes I think it's one of the things that you got to kind of push and say, okay, hey, but like you said, I think that's one of those things too, where you watch people and see
Yeah.
how they are, see how their demeanor is, and see, it just start talking to them and seeing are they okay and stuff like that. And it's good with us because you have a lot of guys that we're pretty tight knit
Yes.
department. And
Yes.
like I said, the guys that I hang out with as friends of mine, I think they would know if something was wrong with me. They
Right.
would, and I think vice versa for them. To the point that we're close. Wives know each other. We're gonna hug out together. We're
Yeah.
very close. I know their kids knew some of their kids before they was even born.
Right. Right.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So I
So
think
what
that.
about the ones that, kind of refuse it? Do you see a difference in their responses in terms of when you get a call? Do you see them more isolated, behavioral different, anger?
Yes, you see it. Which I don't like. I tell a lot of people, we'll get a call, and I understand. Sometimes you get the call from we do get calls from the same people, like every single shift in certain areas. You're like, man, this same person, we call every day.
What kind
So,
of calls is that?
so I
Are
understand. You just get those people.
every day?
Sometimes, well, sometimes you get people who older people, for example. You get some older people that just call because they're lonely. Then we get some people. We got a young man that everybody know in the department, and this guy will call almost every day. Like we know him by name. When we hit the street and the address, we know exactly who he is. And it's like he just called every day, you know. And so a lot of times you have to motivate them. You gotta say, hey man, hey y'all, this is our job. They're paying us to do this. I understand it's frustrating. I understand it's the same old, because what happens is you don't want to get complacent.
Right.
It may seem like it's nothing. Oh, every time you go there's nothing, you know, every time. But then that one day,
that's right.
We need to make sure we be on that A game. And now because we're so complacent, thinking that he's calling for nothing, for nonsense. And now we're not on that A game, and now we actually have to do our job. And we slipped up because we thought it was going to be nothing to the call. And so you have seen those guys who have went to counseling, they're doing great. Then the guys who kind of stray away from it, so I don't need that. I don't. And then some of them eventually do go talk to them. And you may not need 10 counseling sessions. You may just need one. I think you have to get that stuff out. I think you got to get that stuff out. I think some of the stuff that we hold in, like I say, especially already, a lot of us as men was brought up with a person with a thing of, you're a man, hey, you don't supposed to be crazy, you're supposed to be tough and this and that. And I believe that I know for me, I think I got more sensitive after my sister passed away, and then I had my first daughter. I think sensitivity just jumped on me. I was like,
it was there.
And I was like, man, I was crying. It's like, man, what? I can literally watch something on TV sometimes and be like, man, that kind of touched me. That kind of. But I think it's a good thing, because I think also that's what helped me. That's what helped me even be better in my relationship with my wife. To understand that, hey, Vincent, maybe you did say that a little harsh. Maybe you did. Maybe you did come off a certain way, and you didn't think you didn't think you did. But maybe that's why your wife said, "Hey, babe, why are you talking to me like that?" So I think it's definitely a great thing to do.
That's awesome. So some takeaways. This is for all of our viewers. And if you are watching this, please share this link. It's on YouTube. It's on Oasis Church, intl.org. Under our lives, you can go back and you can watch it. It's on Facebook Live. It's so important. This is really good. So some of the takeaways, number one, you definitely want to, if you don't know Jesus Christ, you definitely want to, get to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. I can say this because I am representing Oasis Church International on today. But, I always, let people know that you can't do this, without God, but you want to, get to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Romans 10:9-10. You just accept him in your heart. Just believe that he died and, was buried. He rose again and he's alive today. And that's why Lieutenant Vincent can do what he's doing. That's why I can sit here and, go through all of these mental health sessions, bring awareness and all of that, because he's alive on today. And I just want to, that's my brother. Okay. All right. I see your brother on there. I see your wife. Amen. You have your cheerleaders out there. So yes, it's so important. Wives, support your husbands. Husbands, support your wives. Do you have any females on in your?
Oh yes.
You?
Yes, we have quite a few. Actually, when it comes to Orange County, in Orange County, Florida, they have said that we have the most females in the nation.
Oh, wow.
And, they actually they just did it was called a night, and it was the females. They got together and they actually did a thing for all young ladies between the ages of 14 and 18. And I was actually showing it to my daughter, so they actually did it this weekend. It looked like it turned out fantastic.
Awesome.
So, because my daughter was even surprised, she's like, "Oh, Dad, I didn't notice that." I mean, we have a lot, and they like our little sisters, big sisters,
Right. Yeah, you're gonna have the little sister, you're gonna have a mama that's gonna be there. So yeah, I mean, husbands, support your wives, wives support your husbands. Don't go get a divorce. When you're married to first responders, you want to be there for them. I so love how you just broke this down. You all are people as well. You have your lives, you have a very stressful job. Do what it takes to come together, as one, keep God as the head and the center of it all. And any other takeaways? If you know someone that is acting as if they're troubled or angry, reach out to them. Get some help. Get all the resources. I also represent NAMI of Palm Beach County, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I'm still the vice president of the board of directors, and NAMI is a very good resource. They were there for me when I needed NAMI, and I still, tell people about it. The 988 number for anyone that is contemplating suicide or having suicidal ideations, and those that you may work with, that 988 number is so important because they are trained, to speak with, that person, kind of talk to them and, kind of talk them down until some other type of help is arrived, like Lieutenant Vincent may get called, out, or, another first responder. But it's so important, and my heart and passion is, just to help the community, help whoever we can. That's why we're here. And I like how you said it, Lieutenant Vincent. Thank you, brother. I like how you said it, if it wasn't for God, you don't know, what you would do and how that God put you in that position. God has placed all of us to be a light and to be where we are. If you're not in a place where if you're in a place where you don't need to be, go and chase what God has for you, the plan. Because I'm telling you, Vincent, listening to you this evening, they are blessed. They are blessed to have you as their lieutenant, to have you as their brother, to have you just, on that squad with them. Everyone you come in contact with is blessed. So God bless you, and I pray that, he continues to shield that hedge of protection around you, and blessings to, the Orange County Fire Rescue Department. And anything else closing? We're getting ready to say good night, but any other closing words that you would like to just share?
Well, I would say this, like you said before, do understand that even with people that may call 911, understand that, like you say, we be patient. We are human. It's not that we don't know that we don't try to do our job, but don't try to get. I know a lot of people have this myth that it seems like it takes us forever to get the calls. Actually, it don't. I think it's more of just a mental thing. You be like, oh man, where they at? But when you see a first responder, when you see a police officer, a firefighter, like I said, military personnel, nurses, should I even say teachers? When you see those people, say hi to them. Tell them, get them show them a little love, show them a little gratitude of, hey, I'm thankful that you do what you do, because a lot of times you don't hear it. A lot of times you do feel like you're on your own. You feel like you're just, oh well, nobody don't realize what I do. And then especially for the ones who's married to the first responders and married to, I always look at it like this: your wife or your husband should be your biggest supporter.
Yes, that's right.
So help each other's back. Be there for them, because like I said, you never know what somebody mental health what they may be going through with their mental health. So if you just start off by talking to them, that will help break the ice of, oh man, I didn't know this. I didn't know you was going through this. I didn't know you felt like this. Right. So I believe that's the number one thing. Start talking to, and to me, it's very easy to talk to your spouse. It should be very easy.
Should be, yes, right.
So if you can start off with your spouse, that's the great thing. And then if you don't have a spouse, I believe it's pretty easy to talk to a lot of times to a parent, mom, dad, somebody that you're close to, or even that best friend. It's like a brother or sister, or even a brother and sister.
That's right.
So, but definitely don't be afraid.
Pastors, leaders, is someone that you should be able to go to. Absolutely, yeah.
And don't be afraid to open up, even as a first responder, or even as for anyone. If you feel hurt, feel sad, feel down, feel depressed, feel like it's like the world is just overwhelming on your shoulders. Seek help. Seek help. And definitely, if you, like I say, if you're a Christian, pray. Talk to God daily. That's something that I was always taught. I should daily have conversations with God, and I do. So I believe that's the thing that mentally helps me out a lot, because I have had conversations with God, sat quiet, and I all of a sudden get an answer. Like, oh man, you know what? So I believe that there's definitely a number one thing, and that's what keeps me at perfect peace, even with the stuff that I may see and go through. And I believe that to a certain extent, a few of us will have the PTSD and all stuff, because it is things out there that, like you say, it's not meant. I don't think it's meant for humans to really see. So that's my way of trying to, maybe put God first, help him, because I believe he's the one that can really wipe everything out of my mind. If I need it now, but also having somebody to talk to, just to get that out sometimes and make you be like, oh man, I feel like a big weight off your shoulders. So I definitely say I won't shy away from, hey, somebody, go talk to somebody. I don't care who it is. And also, I know you had mentioned something about the 988. That's one that we tell people about as well. But I know also you can also go on some of your insurances.
Yes, that's right. EAP programs and
So they have so many different ways out there now. As the world itself has all changed to that. So you do have people out there when it comes to, you look on your insurance, like you say, the church.
Therapy. 211 still works.
211, So there's definitely things out there that help. Don't never feel like you don't have the help.
That's right.
Out there.
That's right. Oh, that is so awesome. So my mom said, awesome to her daughter and her son-in-law. And your wife is definitely in your corner. She done gave so many amens. So thank you so much, Vincent. And I just would like to say because I know it's so much going on in the world today, and a lot of people are questioning, really, is there a God? So we live in a world where Satan pretty much is, I mean, he's alive as well, in terms of, a spirit, and God doesn't cause anything bad to happen. That's why we need him in our lives. But I'm not gonna, preach tonight, but I just want to, just let people know that, because people are their belief, their faith is shaken because everything that people are going through right now and the craziness that's going on. But just know that God does not cause things to happen. But because of the fallen world that we're in, because of Satan, and the fallen sin, that's why we need a savior, who is Jesus Christ. That is why we're living in this fallen world, in this world of sin. That's what's going on. But God always protects his people. He does. He looks out for his people. And I want to tell mothers, parents, the fire department is there to put out fires. They're there to, you've heard the many things that they deal with. But also, if you do not want your child, because this is becoming more and more prevalent, where people are killing their children. If you do not want your child, there is a fire department that will take that child. You drop your child off to the fire department and they'll take it from there. Am I right, Lieutenant?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
you can drop them off. They call it be safe. It's like a safe haven.
Yes. Absolutely. And they'll take them, to, whatever place. But, my prayer is that the killings would stop, with the children, these innocent, kids. So that's it. I mean, I don't even want to hang up, but thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm going to work on that. Family members of first responders. We're gonna work on that. We will be in person in November, and I will put out some more information. And we're gonna be having a workshop on mental health and relationships. And these are intimate relationships. So this is going to be in person here in West Palm Beach. So I'll give information on that. Thank you to our wonderful tech team that has kept us up and running. And again, thank you to my senior pastor for allowing this to be so. So you all take care. Share. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.